We are talking community during the chaos. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and we're speaking to some artists who are basically going to tell us what they're doing during this crazy time and the conversations that they're having. So, my first guest on the show is Kevi, and then will be LaToria, and then DJ Mykael.
Yo,
Yo,
what
yo,
up,
yo.
bro?
What up, Kiwi? Nice studio background.
Oh, we here.
So how you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. How you been?
Good. My son was just yelling in the background and he stopped right as I went live. So
Okay. All right.
it was perfect.
Let's
Otherwise
go.
we were gonna have a third person in on this interview. So for everybody tuning in right now, this is Community During Chaos. So we're speaking to about three artists every single week, talking about what they're doing during this time of civil unrest and chaos. Like, what can we do in their communities? What can we do just to kind of help discussions had and things progress? So, first off, we have Kiwi. So, as a young Black man, what does seeing the events of even just these last few weeks do to you and kind of like put you in the headspace for?
Man, I've been hating getting on social media, man, and seeing like, black deaths. But it's really hit home for me, in this
Yeah.
season because I'm raising a black man. I'm raising my son, and
Hmm.
I'm raising my son in the midst of all this chaos. One day I'm gonna have to tell my son, like, the things that are happening are this stuff that's happening right now may be in his social studies books or something. Um
Right.
so
Today's current events is tomorrow's history.
yeah, that's so I just been taking it one day at a time, bro. But music has been really therapeutic, man. It's been really therapeutic for me to just write about my anger, my frustration, and just kind of let
Yeah.
it all out, bro. So yeah, I've been going.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you that because you have this young son, he's still a baby. Um, have you already kind of thought about like conversations that you're going to have with him later on in life and like how would you approach that? And I guess maybe people in your situation that have kids or are thinking about having kids, it's like, why would I want to have this kid in this
Yeah,
world right now?
yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
I've been thinking about having them conversations. I thank God that he's about to just now turn one next month. So he really don't know what's going on, but
Right.
there is going to come a time where I have to sit Kingston down and tell him, like, this is what racism is. This is what the world gives to you, but you still have to love in the midst of, like, love
Hmm.
the best way you can without being
Right.
stepped on. Yeah, so I'm ready to have those hard conversations with him when the time comes. It's just I thank God he's still young, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the same thing with my kids and even with the coronavirus going on, like explaining to my 3-year-old daughter, like we can't go outside because everybody's sick.
Yeah,
And we can't go visit grandma or, we can't touch anybody and daddy can only go to the store and he has to wear a mask. And then she's like, she gets it, but it's like so weird to have to tell it to a kid.
yep, it's
Like
so weird.
she's just like, she's like, Daddy, everyone's still sick. Be careful. And she'll tell me that. And I'm like, geez, you're a baby. And my son is almost 1 years old. So you have that component. Then you have all the racial tension that's going on, that's been going on, since forever.
Yeah,
Um, Now, did anybody have those conversations with you growing up?
yeah. I want to commend my grandfather, man, because he always had those conversations about racism. But I'm just now seeing those conversations play out now, like, you know, as a black man, we've always been taught to, like, fear the police.
Right.
That can drive our mental down the drain. We always been taught to walk on eggshells to appease, a certain race, and it shouldn't be like that because we all equal. Thinking
Right.
Christian, mindset or thinking just human mindset, we're all equal, bro. But like, yeah, my grandpa, he told me that like stuff like this would happen, and now I'm just now seeing it play out. I'm 26, bro. Now I'm seeing everything he's been talking about come to pass.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I know like racism is not strictly an American problem,
Hmm.
but it's most prevalent, I would say, here in America in the dynamic that we're talking about now, the black and white.
Yeah.
Because I knew this guy. I used to work with this guy. He was from Jamaica, and he didn't think like in Jamaica almost everybody's black. So
Hmm.
when he heard about racial stuff, he's like, racism, like I don't understand it. And then he came to America and he didn't experience it at all. And then one day he did, and it was just like, and he was already in his 20s,
That's
and
crazy.
it's not like, he's very well educated, master's degree, good job, everything that for him, he's just like, yeah, no, I'm a regular, person. And boom, he got racially profiled as well.
That's sad,
And he
bro.
thought, even with his master's degree, even with his whatever, like, oh, they, I won't get bothered, I'm different. And it's like, no, it's a problem. And then that opened his eyes. Um,
Shouldn't be
so,
like
and
that.
it's hearing stories like that too, even from people not from here that come here, like, oh, this is America, this is the land of opportunity.
Yep.
Um, so that's crazy. Now, I want to talk about, you dropped the song Black Boy today, and you sent that to me last week, and I was like, oh, this would be perfect to kind of talk about. So what's the theme of the song and the message and just like what went into writing that song?
So, bro, believe it or not, I was going to create my EP, bro. I made the song 4 months ago. I didn't just create this song. I made the song 4 months ago, and I was talking about previous events, and it's crazy. Like God's timing is crazy, man. But I want to shine light on the black perspective, and I wanted to shine light on um, what's going on in this world. Like we have killings. Not George Floyd wasn't the only one who said he couldn't breathe. It was um, ah,
Eric Gardner,
Eric Gardner.
who's from Staten Island, where I live.
There you go. So
Mm-hmm.
I was taking those stories, bro, and writing Black Boy, and I wanted to be kind of controversial with it. So I got my friend's wife on it, and she's white. She's singing the
Mm-hmm.
hook, and the hook is like, "Dear Black Boy, I see you on the TV." Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And it's so it's like, okay, a white girl singing this and a black boy's coming together. That's unity, you know.
Right.
God knew, bro. So I want to shine light on a black perspective, and I wanted the other race to help me sing about it. Just bring the whole thing together.
Right. Right.
Crazy, bro. Yeah.
Now, was the song supposed to come out around this time too, or did all of this kind of expedite it?
Oh, I was gonna wait to the album, bro, and put the album out maybe September, but this time was like I don't want to say perfect, but this time was it was needed in this time. I
Right,
could I
right,
couldn't hold on to that song no more. God like I'm, God just was buzzing me like, yo, Kevi, hurry up, put that out. They need it, and I did it, bro. It's doing good right now. I think it's going to encourage a lot of people.
what sort of comments or feedback have you gotten about the song so
Um,
far?
a lot of my fans were like, "Kiwi, thank you for like letting us in on your perspective as a black man. We needed this. Like, only if I can screenshot a lot of my DMs. A lot of my fans are predominantly white.
Hmm.
They're appreciating a lot. Like, they're appreciating this song a lot more than I thought they would appreciate it. And I think
Yeah,
this song right here is breaking barriers, but also unifying us as a people, bro. Like.
yeah, and I found a lot of that, like, with this racial tension and all this that has been happening for all of these years. For whatever reason, it was like kind of George Floyd that sort of like broke the bank for
Broke the
everybody.
bank.
Like there are ones, and I'm not downplaying what happened to him, but there are instances that were a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like even Ahmad Arbery was worse. Like the dude was hunted.
Yep.
The guy was hunted down by people, and it was like, okay. And I'm like, all right, that happened. That was really bad. And then you have something else happen, then something else happens, and then this happened, and this one for whatever reason was like, oh,
This
I
was
get it now. Like
this was it, bro. Like
I
this is like
understand.
y'all gonna hear us now, like
Yeah,
bad, but this was it, bro. This was the tipping point, man. There are a lot of lives that haven't even hit the news that we don't talk about because we probably don't even know about, you know.
yeah.
So I think the world needed to be shaken up like this.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So have you gone to any protest or been involved in any sort of community forums or discussions or anything?
man, bro. I've been protesting at the crib, man. I've been like taking care of my son. I wanted to get out there on the forefront, but I think God got me at the crib working the behind the scenes stuff right now. And I'm gonna let all my homies, go out there. A lot of my friends been going out there, and you know, out here in Grand Rapids, somebody got the shooting, like they got the fighting. I'm like, all right, I protest at the crib.
So I guess you've been having a lot of like dialogues and healthy discussions at home. And
Yep.
like, have you had any like real meaningful, I'd say like a breakthrough conversation with someone where it
Yeah.
was just like, oh, they don't get it. And then finally, like you had that conversation, you were like, okay.
I had a lot of them, man. Bro, to tell you the truth, I'm in the I'm in a lot of these Zoom calls, bro. Like standing up for what's right or bringing awareness to what's needed to be
Yeah.
talked about. Like I work for a mental health organization, and they were trying to navigate ways on how to go about telling everybody. They haven't said nothing yet, but I said,
Hmm.
okay, if you guys haven't said anything yet, use me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Use me as the black, not use me as one of the black employees, and allow me to speak, and let's break this ice. So
Yeah.
I'm in these Zoom calls, bro. I got like 4 this week. Yeah, I got 4 this week, man, and I think like
Wow.
we're gonna break the tension, bro, and break the ice, man, and come together.
You getting that work, but
Put in that work,
but
that work,
that's,
bro.
but that, but that's the work. If
Yeah,
you're at home, right? So
yeah,
if you're not on the streets, you're taking care of it from in your house. And I
yep,
think that's just as important too, because while there's people on the streets, there needs to be people like almost if you think about the army, like you're sending people out for
yep,
a war, but there's got to be people at home to protect you, right?
yep.
So
Gotta be
that's Kiwi the defender
the
right now.
defender.
So if anyone's got a question, drop it in here because I got one more for Kiwi, and then if we got some extra time, I'll ask one, and then we'll make way for LaToria.
Let's
But
do it.
I mean, do you have any words of encouragement or I guess final words of conviction for anybody watching this?
I will give words of encouragement for my white and black brothers. Just understand that we don't know everything, so ask questions. To my white brothers, ask questions. To your black friends or to a black circle, and black people, don't be so hard on them when they're trying to learn.
Yeah.
Let's come together, and we know things have been going on for years. Let's break the tension, come together, have these hard conversations, and like let's build as a people, man. Because like I said, Justin, this needed to happen in the world to bring awareness. And
Mhm.
yeah, I know for a fact by the end of this year, we all something a conclusion is gonna come out of this. Some great's gonna come out of this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing more things come out of this than almost anything I've seen, even outside of like police brutality or racial.
Yeah.
Like this impact has affect like companies. Not that we all care about what celebrities do, but like celebrities are trying their best to do stuff. Some of it's real weird, but but they're doing stuff. So it's like, okay, well, you gave it a shot. But organizations and articles and documentaries and movies like the whole culture is kind of being shifted.
Yeah.
which I think is super encouraging, and kind of stinks that it takes a certain amount of tragedies stacking up to be like, hey, let's do this. If you kind of figured out and got things right in the first place,
Yeah.
a lot of things could be avoided. A lot of people, I've heard kind of 50-50 of people saying, oh, ask your black friends if you have questions. And then I've heard a whole nother side of people say, don't ask your black friends, do
Yeah.
the research yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think? And obviously, if it's a super opinionated thing, we heard your opinion,
Yeah.
which is ask your black friends. But I feel like if people are earnest, right, and you trust that this person has the best intentions, like that he's not trolling you,
Yeah.
and I know that's got to be exhausting though to start fielding questions
It
all the
is.
time.
It is.
Um, so I don't know. What do you think about that?
I would say ask your black friends, but then in being black and being and from a black person defense, people can say we've been giving you the answer for years.
Yeah,
You know, like
the answer's always been there. Like you
the
should have
answer.
figured it out by now.
Yeah, the answer's always been there. So I think, yeah, as a race, just research, ask for research, and if they don't want to talk to you about it, research, man, and try to love them, But the answer's always been there for years, so I can
Yeah.
definitely come in defense for that.
Then come back and impress your black friends with a bunch of facts.
There you go.
then maybe they'll answer your questions because you came prepared.
There you go. And there we
It's
have unity.
it's like with a teacher when you ask a dumb question, they're like, "Well, you should probably just do your homework and then you could
Right.
ask me about it, right?"
Right. Man, I appreciate you, bro, man.
Everybody. Oh, Kevi, real quick, where can everybody get this song?
Y'all can find the music anywhere, iTunes, Spotify, anything you listen to music on. Black Boy is out today, so go stream it and let me know what you think. And be encouraged. Be encouraged. Thank you, bro.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
I'll talk to you
Much love
soon.
to you and the family.
All right, you too, bro. See ya.
All right, peace. You got questions, everybody? Drop them at the end. Hey, hey, hey.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear
Well,
me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
All
What's
right.
going on, Trey?
I've actually never like spoken to you like this before, and I don't think on the phone. So nice to meet you officially. There's my
Absolutely,
handshake.
right. Handshake, virtual handshake.
So yeah,
What's good,
thanks
bro?
thanks for jumping on here. I saw the press release about what you were doing with the racial trauma talking, and I posted it, and then I was like, wait a second, this sounds like a good candidate for this show.
Yeah.
So for
Absolutely.
for any of your fans that are jumping in right now, we're talking about community during chaos, and we're just speaking to about 3 artists every single week for about an hour, 20-minute segments where we talk about some of the good and positive conversations and things that are happening in communities, because more often than not, we see or hear only the bad things and the divisive things. So we just kind of want to have a good conversation about progress and all that. So my first question to you would be, how have, and I saw on your Instagram post you put processing um, with a dot at one point, and
Yeah.
then my first question was going to be, how have you been processing everything that's been going on the last few weeks?
Oh man. So for me personally, bro, like I've actually kind of been steeped in the work specifically around race relations for several years now.
Mm-hmm.
And so my heart has kind of been in this perpetual state of lament, you know?
Right.
And I think with each instance that something goes public about an unarmed black man or woman being killed, it kind of like intensifies, for me to say it, for lack of a better word. But this
Yeah.
time, like you guys were saying a few minutes ago, and a lot of people are saying, with the situation with George Floyd, something just hit different.
Right. Right.
And I call it God's sovereignty. You know what I mean? I think, you know, this is something that this issue has been something that's been handed down to us generation after generation. And I feel
Yeah.
like the Lord is applying pressure to say, nope, you guys don't get to, you don't get to pass it down. You've got to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've just been processing what that means for me as an individual, you know, what that means for me as a Black woman, what that means for me as an artist, what that means for me as a believer, just all the different hats that I wear, you know what I mean? Because it'll affect those different areas that I participate in, just depending on what they are. So it's an ongoing process, bro. I'm still processing.
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason why I started the series, because like I know other people need and maybe need for it to be modeled what it is to process.
Right.
You know? So
and before we jump onto the Who Am I Becoming,
sure.
As we spoke about the Floyd thing, like how that intensified with so many people, but for you who's been dealing with this and processing it, did this one affect you even more too, or was it just kind of here it goes again? Like did it affect the Black community differently too, you think?
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're not a monolith. You have different Black folks in different headspaces, to be quite honest with you. But I would say majority of the Black folks that I know, yes, this one hit different. And I think it's all of the disparities and things that are going on with COVID-19 and how we are being affected in large proportions differently than other races, compounded with the situation with George Floyd. It was just like all of society is reminding us of the reality that we already know and carry with us on an everyday basis. You know what I mean? So I think that the combination of those things, it definitely hit different.
Yeah, when we were talking last week on this too, where it's like you have everybody is stuck inside. People are already fearful and scared, right? And there's people that are sick. You have young people are out of school. Yeah. They have no sports to play, no sports to attend, no concerts outlet to go to. Yeah. There's nothing to let off even creativity, anger, any sort of like passion. And it kind of got to this melting point where it's just like building, explosion, right?
Absolutely.
And this was the thing that set it off.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, it's been crazy to just watch it all unfold.
So you have the Who Am I Becoming series on racial trauma. So you said what your background is and kind of what led you to create this, but what I guess would be your goal and kind of your, I don't want to say end game, but like what's the ultimate, I guess, focus and thing that you're looking to achieve with it?
Yeah, for sure. So the same week that George Floyd was murdered, I released a single called Becoming. And it was definitely more of a lighthearted, you know what I'm saying, feel-good type joint, celebratory, if you will. And then, the situation with George happened, and I just sat for a while and just reflected like, man, how can I use the art that I make to help meet a need with this situation that's ongoing, especially for us as African Americans. So, man, just in prayer, I felt led to flip that and ask a question. And that question is, who am I becoming? And that is, it's a question for everybody. You know what I mean? Because the end goal really is self-awareness. I think that I really wanted to just center Black voices. Last week we focused on Black women and just created a space for them to process and lament and just say or do whatever in that space. And then this week we're going to be focused on the guys. But really, at a high level, the question is for everybody. It's not just for Black folks. It's for white folks. It's for Latinx folks. It's for Asian folks. Like, as a result of these things continuing to happen, who are you becoming? Are you apathetic and just like, oh, dang, that sucks, and then you go straight to get your Starbucks coffee and you don't think about it? Yeah. Or are you heartbroken and devastated and on the edge and about to lose your mind, like a lot of Black folks are dealing with right now, But the end goal really is self-awareness and just to kind of examine yourself and say, hey, who are you becoming as a result of these things? So.
Right. And I know the men are happening this week, but in your conversations and I guess maybe even your experience, do do Black men and Black women experience different types of traumas within the African American community?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe go into that a little bit, I guess, as best as you can.
Yeah. So one of the things that I learned, actually last week we had, Dula Prevalon, amazing woman of God. She's a teacher, pastor, leader, counselor, and she just was talking about some of the effects of trauma, which is really what it is that Black people are experiencing on different levels. It's just different types of trauma. And, she talked about how there are chemicals that are released when you're experiencing trauma. And I think that just that simple fact alone, it affects women differently and it affects men differently. She talked about fight, flight, or freeze, and so I think a lot of times, just depending on men dealing with testosterone and women dealing with estrogen, those different things may manifest depending on how trauma affects you. So that's just one example. I mean, I don't know. I think that there is something to be said about the percentage of unarmed Black men versus the percentage of unarmed Black women, and who's highlighted and who's not. Like, there's so many layers to just the Black experience when you're talking about these things. So yeah, I would, but at a high level, I would definitely say that there are different effects. There are similar effects, and then there are different effects.
Do you have any like direct resources or books or people that even like a speaker or somebody that if anyone's interested in kind of diving into what you were just talking about a little more, that they could check out?
There was one book that actually the counselor I talked to last week, I'm trying to remember. I think it's called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. It talks about just the trauma of slavery and how that's been passed down from generation to generation. I don't have it in front of me, but that's definitely something to look up.
Okay.
As far as trauma is concerned, I definitely have other resources just in regards to self-awareness and just the conversation in general that are helpful. If you want them, or if you want to wait and we talk about that later, it's up to you.
I mean, I guess we could talk about it later, but I guess even maybe when you come off, maybe drop a link or something in the comments too, so people watching this can check it out. Yes, Absolutely. It's an excellent book. Please, y'all go read it. Okay, so you were right with the title. The title was correct. And
then I think, there's other resources that I'll point out specifically around trauma towards the end. But go ahead.
Okay. So obviously, this is a great tool and resource for people, just having these discussions and being able to, it's like a therapy session on Instagram.
Absolutely.
So outside of that, have you been able to be a part of any protest or any sort of like dialogues or forums that have been really fruitful, that you've been able to see like an immediate impact?
Sure. So I'm associated with a local FCA organization here, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So we have weekly Zoom calls and that kind of thing, and it's predominantly white space, which is what has been my norm for the last several years. And for me, I chose to abstain from the actual beat in the streets just as a form of self-care. Because honestly, I had to try to find a balance between the taxing work of being in predominantly white spaces and, giving those high-level conversations and, engaging our white brothers and sisters as they just consider these things, for the first time. That's exhausting, to be honest with you. And so for me, I've definitely been supporting from afar the people that are actually beating the street. My sis, Katina Butler, is actually one that's been leading protests in Denton, in the Denton area, and they were actually able to achieve getting a statue removed of a civil, of a general, a Confederate general that was, I guess, known in the Civil War era. So, I'm definitely connected in a couple of different ways. And so, as far as immediate results, I think that might be something that we can speak to, is just the efforts that she's making there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of important to note. And Kevi basically said the same thing. Like, there's a lot of people who kind of guilt other people into, oh, well, you got to be active, you got to get on the streets, you got to
Right.
protest, you got to make your voice heard. But there's a lot of people that need to be kind of behind the scenes to do this, and there's a lot of people who maybe can't go out there. And then at the
Absolutely.
same time, we're supposed to be quarantining, right? There's a virus.
That
There's people who
part.
could there's people who could get sick, right? And care for elderly people or have children or people that are just scared. So
Man,
I
that's so
mean,
true.
there's there's a, like they say, there's a time and a place for everything, but there's also a time to be smart about things. There's a time for action, and for everybody that answer is kind of different. But as long
Absolutely.
as you're not just sitting on your hands, right, and doing nothing or pretending it doesn't exist,
Yeah.
you could still be active in an assortment of ways. You can donate money, you could spread awareness, you can have conversations on Instagram, you could send people books,
Yeah.
you can have a tough conversation, you could
Yeah.
be the warrior, you can be the keyboard warrior on Facebook or Twitter,
Yeah.
or you could be the person in the streets. I mean, there's so many different ways to go about making your voice heard, and I think that's kind of
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah, it's really an all hands on deck matter. You
Right.
know what I mean? Everybody bring all the gifts in all the spaces that you're in and point them towards the goal and the issue. You know what I mean? So absolutely, I
Right.
agree.
Right. All right. So I have one more question for
Okay.
LaToria. So if anybody's got a question, drop it. I see the post-traumatic slave syndrome by Joy DeGroy.
I think it's DeGroy.
DeGroy.
She's got some talks out there too that are really informative.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody check that out. So my last question to you would be, do you have any words of encouragement or final words of conviction for anyone who's watching this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just in my time of processing, like I said the other day, and just really meditating and trying to be still, what I feel like the Lord showed me is that this is a matter, frankly, of immaturity. You know, the church should be leading the charge on dismantling racism, dismantling white supremacy, dismantling this thing that every generation keeps fighting. I think it was one of the guys you were talking to last week that said it was a lady like in her 70s or something that was like, we've been fighting the same fight. And it's just like, so we haven't grown. That's what that's pointing to, is that we have not matured. We're still fighting the same fight. And so I think self-awareness is really important. And that's something that every believer should be doing in this time. I think for our white brothers and sisters, it's really imperative that you guys grow in self-awareness, because there's a lot of things that you've just been shielded from, that you completely miss, that you don't ever have to think about on a regular basis. And in order for us to move the needle forward, it's imperative that you guys start to read, that you understand that you have to unlearn everything that you've learned about American history and everything that they've taught in school, because there's so much that's been left out that matters and directly points to the things that we are living and experiencing right now today. It points to why your experience is so vastly different from your brothers and sisters of another race. You know what I mean? And so I would just say that self-awareness is really key. Taking the time to really understand bias, understand racism, understand the definitions and the differences, you know, between these things. I think if I could just highlight a couple of really good resources,
Go for it.
LaToria Morrison is killing the game right now. She has a organization called Be the Bridge. And I definitely, when we're done, I'll post the links to everything that I'm saying on here right now. But she is a major resource. She has all of these courses where it really just walks you through everything that you kind of need to understand before you can say, where do we go from here? You have to stop, go back, and learn what got us here. You know what I mean? Daniel Hill, he has a book called Wide Awake. It's another really good resource, another really good read. Just to grow in self-awareness. Two women, I'm not sure if they're believers or not, but just as far as the information, it's on point. If you look up Jane Elliott, she has this experiment.
Yes.
Have you watched that? The brown
I've
out blue
seen,
eyes?
yeah, I've seen a bunch of her stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's informative. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And another one is Robin DiAngelo. Just Google her. Like, she's got tons of talks. She's got a book called White Fragility, and another one, I think, just understanding whiteness. And so, for me, my encouragement in this space is really for our white brothers and sisters. Like, we need you guys to grow in self-awareness, because the longer that you remain not aware of self and whiteness and how to navigate that, it's going to perpetuate trauma, specifically for African Americans,
Mm-hmm.
definitely for other people of color. And so I think that work of self-awareness is also part of the sanctification process. It's part of you becoming, you know what I'm saying? It's a part of your discipleship, is to also be aware of the land that you were born in and the principalities and things that exist in that space, and what that means for you as a follower of Christ according to the word of God. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Mic drop. There you go. You could go. You're good. All right. So everyone, LaToria. Oh, plug where everybody could follow you, listen to your music, check your stuff out.
Yeah. So, new single just dropped a few weeks ago. It's called Becoming. Everywhere, just look up my name, LaToria. I'm on all social media as LaToria Music. On all digital platforms. My website is LaToria Music. So everything is the same, LaToria Music. Devo, all of those things. So y'all holler at me.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Absolutely.
We're jumping on with DJ Mykael V. Thank you, LaToria.
All right, bro.
All right. Peace. Thanks. Hey.
Yes, sir.
What up?
What up, bro? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
Man, I'm good, bro. Just got a Bible study, just chilling.
Oh, so you're here to lay the blessings down.
This man said lay the blessings down. That's crazy.
Where
you been, bro?
Lay the blessings. I'm good, man. I'm excited to get you on here because the last time I saw you on Instagram, you were dropping the sermon of a lifetime. So I'm curious to see what you got to say. And I actually see some questions in here, and I'm going to ask you these questions straight off the top. So we're going to throw you right into the fire. So Kinfolk Dre asked, what can we do as a hip hop artist to bring more awareness with our music without seeming to be exploited or clout chasing?
Dang, that's like a straight shot out of a cannon right now. But I think what it is it's more so not what can I do through my art, but more so what can I do, period. You feel me? Like, so for me, it's like a lot of people express themselves through art, and a lot of people express themselves through those things, and they're powerful. But it shouldn't just be within music. It should be through lifestyle. It should be through conversations had. And these are pivotal times right now. So I don't think somebody is clout chasing per se if they talk about those things. But I would say, what's your motivation for talking about those things? That's where like the comes into play. Like, are you talking about it because it is a hot topic and you actually do feel strongly about these things, or is it like, well, everybody's talking about it, so I feel like I have to talk about it, and then you kind of measure your intentions through that. But I don't think people should be thinking first, oh, how can I make art from this? It's like, man, these are tough times, bro. Not just the coronavirus, but just with the civil unrest, the unjust killings of black men, black women, all over the world, especially in America. So it's hard to find, it's hard to find creativity at times.
Yeah.
So if you don't create, it's okay. Like, it's okay to, you know what I'm saying, deal with these things and not make art.
Yeah. You don't have to make art for every single thing that happens. Like, usually art comes out of, a struggle or a bad time. But if it doesn't, or if you just kind of need to hold it back for a bit, right? To kind of let clear heads and let some of the smoke clear, just in terms of like just people being receptive to things. I think that's important. And first, excuse me. So for anybody who is logging in from Mykael's Instagram, we're doing Community During Chaos, where we're having discussions every week with 3 people, kind of with all the chaos that's going on in the world, we want to highlight some of the good things, the great conversations, and things that deal with race, obviously, and tough topics, but like how we can move forward and not focus on anything necessarily divisive.
Yeah.
So that is what he is doing here right now. We had Kevi Morse and LaToria on before him. Let's see, we got another question in here, and then I'll ask you some stuff from Joseph Chimbuka. How would you measure our level of awareness, and how much more effort do we need to add?
I think awareness is subjective because there's always going to be somebody that knows more, quote unquote. I mean, to be honest, bro, I just think it's all hands on deck. I think caution gets thrown to the window because if you really value God's children first, and especially you value black people and black lives and just black feelings, I think it's all hands on deck. I think no effort is too much, and I think at the moment no effort is too little. I think waiting for like the right time or is kind of done. Um, it's like you should like continuously be wanting to grow more and know more because it's like everybody wants to know enough to impress their friends, but they don't want to know enough to actually have wisdom and be able to speak on it and
Yeah,
speak on it with actual intelligence of the subject and not just, oh, I know enough to kind of I know enough to defend myself in the comments because I know I'm gonna post something controversial. It's not about gaining knowledge for the sake of I know it, so now I can like tell people it when I'm in Twitter and all this stuff.
yeah,
Like all that stuff. It's like nah, like you should learn about it because one, you want to, two, because you should constantly be growing, not just in the information like this, but this like just in the times that we're in, especially, you should want to learn why and how people hurt. And when you learn that, then you develop empathy and not just sympathy, but the most important thing is empathy. To empathize with
yeah,
people, and you can do that even more with the more you know. So it's like, but you shouldn't. Like empathy doesn't require like a super crazy understanding. Um,
right.
it's just if you have that desire to learn, to love people, and to uh just be there for people and like I want to learn because I don't want to just talk out the side of my neck. Then
Right.
by all means, like there's no such thing as too much information.
You're in Atlanta, so how has it been kind of living through this tension in Atlanta right now, and how does that affect you? Because there's a lot going on in Atlanta right now.
Trying to think, man. To be honest, it is beautiful. But in the same breath, it is tragic. It is it's very it's hurt. I don't want to say hurtful, but like seeing everything, it hurts a lot. Um, um, and it's just like it's just a lot, man. It's a lot to kind of because like there's been continuous protests for the last 2 weeks, and that was
Yeah,
last week I was protesting all week, like out there and just
yeah,
marching and just being in solidarity with my friends and people that I love and people that I value in my life, um, and just being wanting to be hurting with people, having that desire.
yeah.
Um, but it's been pretty crazy, man. Like they just killed I forgot his name. Forgive me, man. Um, but they just killed this dude by the Wendy's. Forgive me for not knowing his name.
Yeah,
They just killed him at Wendy's, man, for like just running away. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously, like the details are like obviously deeper than that, but I don't think it was deserving of somebody losing their life, let alone getting the cops called on them for just sleeping in the car, trying to
right.
like rub off like a just being drunk. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to sleep it off. Like it's a lot, man. But it's uh Rayshard Brooks. That's his name. Thank you, Aaron. Rayshard Brooks. And it's just hard to like see these things, man, because it's like you watch the news and it's like my city is on fire, but it's like
Yeah,
rightfully so. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's like rightfully so. Like yeah, we need to get up. We need this. This is what we need to bring attention to. Um and it's just crazy, man. It's like hurting with people and knowing people personally who are hurting. If whoever knows me knows I'm a very emotional person, period. So then me being able to hurt with my friends, I don't feel it at full capacity, but I feel it enough to cry and to hurt with them and to mourn with them and to try to be as active to try to be as active but also quiet when I need to be, because there's some things that I don't need to speak on, and I'm
Yeah.
learning that. I don't need to speak on everything to satisfy somebody's urge to hear me speak or to hear my own voice. It's okay to listen. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to
Yeah.
step back and just hear.
Yeah, and that's something I think that's kind of important too, because a lot of artists or a lot of creatives, like sometimes they get mad or they get impulsive, and that first impulse reaction is to kind of go at somebody, you know, in the comments or whatever. And maybe in your anger or with a cooler head, you might respond better. Like, because the point of this, right, is to kind of teach people, is to kind of show people, hey, this is what we mean, this is what we're doing. And a lot of times when people react in anger or react impulsively, you just lost the shot at maybe, you know, changing somebody's mind with some sort of message. And that goes for everything too, even if it's, you know, the artists in CHH that are, you know, ministering to people or speaking to the gospel. And you got someone in the comments that just asking you, you know, even biblical questions that may seem like a troll, but maybe they're actually serious. And depending on how you answer, like that person might be out. So I think that's an important thing that you just said. Like sometimes you don't need to speak on anything, or maybe you'll talk about it, but give us some time.
Yeah, I mean and also, man, it's like I don't even be answering the trolls, bro. It's just like if I'm being real, bro, like man, how do I say that without being like too harsh? It's like if if I don't personally know you and you have like an opinion that you is strong and all this stuff, like
Making assumptions and
yeah, like and you
conspiracies
want to be
and
in the
yeah,
comments and you want to argue statistics, man, I'm not wasting my energy on you. I'm not about to be in the comments trying to change your mind because I know that change doesn't. It comes from the heart. It comes from
yeah,
the inside. So it's like if you're hell bent on not understanding anything that I have to say, no matter what statistics I throw at you, no matter what heavy verbiage I throw at you, or what well allocated thing throw at you, you're not gonna change your mind because it's already in your heart that you feel that way. And I've
right,
learned that at a young age. I would always be I've always been in the comments like defending people or wanting to argue, and it's just like, man, I don't got the energy for it because it's like my energy isn't even being valued in that person. Like even like it's like I'm gonna like if I do put that effort in to try to teach somebody about something and then they respond with like another ignorant question or like it's not even like edifying, it's like yo, I'm really wasting my energy and my peace of mind trying to convince somebody that is just not gonna understand. So I just stay out of the comments, bro. I'm
yeah,
literally out here trying to convince people in real life. Like I'm really about the action. It's about
yeah,
just being out there and whether it's physically being out there or having discussions, difficult conversations. It's just about continuing to push forward what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
and even though the world is saying, yo, like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, like let's rename streets Black Lives Matter, and it's like, man, we don't give a damn about any of that.
It's almost like a little bit of an upgrade from thoughts and prayers.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
it's
we're
just like, bro,
yeah,
there's Martin Luther King Boulevards all throughout the hood in America, bro. Like naming
hmm
a street after a powerful movement or person, it don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? So when it like and if I'm being real, when I was seeing all these cities painting Black Lives Matter, I know it's the sentiment is genuine. I respect it, but I'm like, I don't care about any of that, bro. I'm caring about what laws are getting put into place. Who are we electing as mayors and chief of polices? Like who are we who like what information, like I want people to really search and really have the energy that they have to try to defend their position of loving black people or not loving black people and having these statistics on white crime and black on black crime. I want all that energy into like go look at who's running in your local ballots. Like go like
yeah,
research who's in your city that has these policies that you love and that you support, like go look at these policies, like have that energy for something that literally will actually help your community. Because it's like all this whole, oh, I'm gonna post a black box on Instagram. Cause I don't care about any of that, bro. Like it's like, what are you really doing, like
Yeah.
to help this movement go forward? You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, how many more people have to die, bro? There's today with today, they found a dude in Houston a black dude in Houston hung on a tree. Whether it was a suicide or somebody killed him, that's 5 people in the last week that have been hung. Black people who have been hung
Yeah.
on trees. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like there's more important things than arguing in comments. There's more important things than painting streets Black Lives Matter. Like, but I'm not hating on that. I need
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
know I'm not hating on that. It's just like, yeah, there's more important things,
We
man.
got
Like,
to do more than that.
yeah, like, because we all have, like, even if you don't want to protest, even if you don't want to make a social media post, even if you don't want to, like, it's like, it sucks, and I get it, but the least you can do is research your local ballots, man. Research your local police chiefs and, like, who you can vote. Like, research, like, the mayors and the congressmen and the congresswomen that are in your city and in your state that you can actually vote for and, like, really make real change within your state and city. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's for people that aren't with the rah 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 and being in the streets.
Right.
But it's just like to the point, man, where it's just like I don't like the moment people think that, like, this, like, the Black Lives Matter movement or, like, bringing attention to all these things is, like, kind of quieting down. I want to get even louder. Like, you know what I'm
Just
saying?
keep
Like,
pushing it.
yeah, I want to, because it's just like, it shouldn't be forgotten until it's changed, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't, like that, like it's crazy, like, just like what we were taught growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I kind of feel like I've been bamboozled, bro. Like, it's like, so I'm an Afro Latino man, and Christopher Columbus has been taught to me as a very humble, amazing man, that discovered America and all this stuff. Like, I was taught that growing up. You know what I'm saying? I was taught he was a great person, like Nina
Yeah.
Pinta, Santa Maria, all these songs and coloring books and all that
And
stuff. And it's just
he
like,
just he just came here and killed everybody.
yeah, like to really do research and learn who this man was, and he was the most vile man to ever walk the earth. Like, it's just like I feel like that's the most, like, disturbing thing ever. Like, the man that killed so many people, my people,
Gets a day.
to enamor him and put him in glory of me growing up, for then to me find out as an adult, like, yo, this man was nothing. Like, he has statues everywhere. It's like, it just hurts, bro. And that's just me being Puerto Rican. Imagine, like, Black people, Native Americans, who literally, like, almost, like, Native Americans literally almost got wiped out completely, like, off the face of the
I
earth.
mean, they basically did get wiped out completely.
And
If,
it's all for the name of capitalism. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And we never
to
learned that.
keep discovering land that already had people living on it.
That, like, it's just like, it's just crazy, bro. And I feel like if we teach our kids the truth from a young age, then they'll be more inclined to stand up for things and have a better understanding when things like this occur. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, that's fine, because I was going to ask you about the Latino thing, because I see you more so than other people I know kind of, champion it. Like how basically most Latinos can trace their ancestry to slaves that came over
yeah,
here. And Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, South Americans, they're like a mixture of everything with Africans, like the native people with Africans. So
yeah.
it's almost just as much as a Latino fight, with African American people, as anyone else.
To give a better example, a sports example, um, Black people are Michael Jordan, and we're like Scottie Pippen. We, we're there, and we have our struggles, and we have, like, our historical things that we've been dealt. We have hands that have been tied by the same slave masters in essence, with the transatlantic slave trade. Like my great great grandmother was an African slave in Puerto Rico, and things of that nature. We all have that in our blood. But to be real, a lot of Latinos, like not a lot, but like the older generation and even some now, they don't really rock with black people, and they only like they're only like down when it's cool, like when they want to say the N word, or when they want to like love hip hop, or like it's like they only talk, like they only want to be stuff when it's like convenient for them, and I hate that. Like, cause I'm just like, cause then I get, cause even though everybody knows who I am, and in the sense of like we're all friends, they know how I personally am.
Yeah.
I get like lumped into that, and they're like, yeah, you're people, and I'm like, no, but that's not me. Like I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like Latinos out of everybody should help lift up our like the black people in our life that we love, and the black people that we see all over this world that are being oppressed. I'm not saying, hey, their hurt is more important than ours. It's like, yo, we've both been hurt, so let us like help each other. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's just like, because these laws, like there's laws specifically created to like hit black people specifically, like
Yeah.
specifically. There's not laws specifically for Puerto Ricans. We've been dealt like a bad hand, but it's like black people have it like way worse, like so much worse. And it's like, even my mom, I had to talk to her. She was like, yeah, but like Puerto Ricans, like we dealt with racism too. And it's like, yes, that is true. We deal with it, we've dealt with it, and we continue to deal with it. But it is not as bad as being black in America. Because there's
Mm-hmm.
some Latinos, just like there's some um uh black people who are fair skinned, who are light skinned, who get like passes. Like, but I can't um like but I can't like I can't turn off being black. Like they like people can't turn off being black. You know what I'm saying? They're black in America. Every day they wake up every day, and what seems like with a target on their back, or like eyes with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, yo, Latinos, like we have to like champion our brothers and sisters, come together, like and hurt together, and understand that what what laws are passed for our black brothers and sisters, and what equality things that are passed, it helps us too. It's not like, hey, they're getting all the attention, we need attention too. Hey, look over here, like we matter. It's like, yes, we do, but right in this very moment, like in this just super blip in time right now, it's we just need to like just be there and be empathetic, and know that what happens justly for our brothers and sisters will happen for us as well. Um, so for me, it's more of explaining like, yo, like we have to really be here for our black brothers and sisters. I
Mm-hmm.
hate saying that. I feel like everybody's saying that now. Black brothers and sisters. It's just so weird to me. That's like a weird concept. I don't know. It's weird to me. But it's like we have to be there for them, not when it's just convenient. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because there's Puerto Ricans that are darker than most black people I know, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not black. Like, I'm this." And some like like 20% of the time, it's not a racist statement, because they're like, "No, like I love my culture. This is
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
culture." But most of the time, it's like, nah, like I don't want to be associated with the
Right.
like the price tag that comes with being called black. And for
Yeah.
me, I'm trying to get rid of that narrative in my own family. I'm trying to get rid of that narrative with people that I know that are Latino. And I have the difficult conversations, and I have those things with like my black friends, and it sucks, and I get sunned sometimes. I get schooled, but I would rather get schooled with people that love me, and then go out and teach people than to be taught by somebody who's like just doesn't rock with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, and I feel you because, I'm half Puerto Rican. My wife's half Puerto Rican. Therefore, my kids are half Puerto Rican. There's a lot of Puerto Rican people in my family, and it's like, yo, like this fight is yours too.
Yeah.
Like you can look at me, you'd never know I'm Puerto Rican. So that's a privilege that I have. Like, oh, I could be white today, and not have to worry about anything else that comes with it. But my great grandfather is black. So like people in my family, like, yo, like our great grandfather or your grandfather or your uncle, whoever he was to you, he was black from Puerto Rico. So like there's no reason why you shouldn't be rocking and understanding that, Black Lives Matter isn't a bad thing. It's not like, oh, I hear a lot of the times the thing is, oh, but do you know what the roots of the organization is and the movement and stuff? Okay, well, throw that aside. Whoever founded it, whatever their ideology was, but just the statement alone saying a group of people matters, that's what everybody is fighting for. That's what everybody
And people
wants
don't
to.
get it, man.
Yeah,
People,
it's
it's like a hard concept, which is crazy in and of itself. It's crazy, but it's a hard concept for people to understand. It's like, yo, oh wait, nah. There has to be like an excuse attached to it when there shouldn't. Like, there's black people dying at an alarming rate
mhm.
just in the last week alone. It's an alarming rate. Like, even if it's not mainstream media, it's at an
Yeah,
alarming rate. And we're not even gonna talk about like redlining and like housing discrimination, name discrimination. There's so many things that people of color and black people have to deal with that it's just like the fact that you can't even understand that black lives matter and you have to combat that with some rebuttal is just crazy for me. It's just such a crazy concept. Like, it's just like there shouldn't be a rebuttal. It should just be, yo, yes, like Black Lives Matter. Like, let's get it. Like, let's champion this.
for someone like you who is out there actually on the streets and protesting, a lot of the things you see in the media, it's geared towards, there's violence or there's protesting or, the police were beating people up or there was instigation. Like what's going on at these protests that you've actually seen that isn't really getting any sort of dialogue?
There was too many. There was too many people talking to try to lead something, and then the wrong people were talking to lead something. So let
That's
me
big.
so let
That's
me
big.
let me just keep it 1,000. I was at a protest, and I forgot his name. He's an amazing dude. I love this guy. I got to chop it up with him after protest. He was basically leading the entire Atlanta protest, right, like the days after the whole CNN trashing. So when everything was heightened, he was like leading it and everything. And the night before we came to protest, he held hands with the Atlanta cops and walked down the block and said, let's walk in unison. Let's walk in like intentionally and together. And then like the next day, he was the one leading it again. He was like trying to tell the group of people that was coming, hey y'all, like the cops, they're on our side. They're gonna let us protest peacefully. There's not gonna be no tear gas, no nothing. Like, if we just protest peacefully, like, they'll leave us alone. There's nothing crazy. Like,
Yeah.
let's say our grievances. Let's be mad. Like, let's do all these things. Like, all that. Like, let's say all that. And in the same breath, there's like this dude that came out of nowhere and was like, when I say F the, you say police. F the police. While this dude is talking, and it's like,
Wow.
but the crowd is giving this dude attention. So what the dude is saying is being drowned out by what the other guy is saying, because it's like it's an emotional reaction. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what, yo, F the police, and it's like he knows people are riled
Are
up.
going to
So it's like,
rally behind that because that's
exactly.
how everyone's feeling.
And what it was for him to get attention on himself and like start like just rile people up. And the main dude that was leading it, nobody was even listening to him at one point, because everybody was screaming at him like, nah, F that, we gonna do what we want. And it's just like, yo, like, what are we doing? Like, what is going on right now? Like, it's like I can't speak on black hurt right now because I'm not black inherently, and I'm not hurt to the point that they are. There's a different hurt that I can't ever
Mm-hmm.
experience that they're experiencing. So I get it. I'm like, oh, everybody's mad, everybody's protesting. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Like, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna empathize. I'm gonna grieve. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna observe. I don't need to open my mouth in this moment. And just observing, I just got so pissed because I'm like, yo, nobody's listening. Like, everybody wants to like just talk, and like everybody wants to be a leader and just like let their voice be heard. And it's just like, yo, now is not the time. You know what I'm saying? And it was just super frustrating, man. But there was a point where we were protesting, and the cops were trying to trap us in a street and tear gas us. So it was like we marched to the Capitol building, and there was National Guard there, full riot gear with state police, and they start assuming position and moving forward with tear gas guns and with their fingers on the trigger, knowing that if you're gonna scare people, bro. You put a finger on the trigger, you're gonna get people rowdy.
Of course.
So everybody every 5 minutes is like running away, like stampeding away because they're scared. But it's also like there's people that are in the police force agitating, and there's protesters who are agitating. So it was like we was just chilling. I was like, I think I'm gonna leave because I already know it's about to go crazy. And then lo and behold, Atlanta police bus comes with mad police and riot gear, and they literally try to trap us on the street and like throw tear gas at us. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like it's like there's no regard for life or even conversation for that matter. Like it was crazy, bro. It's super crazy, but that's the bad part. The good part, man, is we were walking in unison, man, walking in unity, walking together, marching, chanting, allowing our voices to be heard and exercising our amendment rights and free speech and doing these things and fighting an oppressive government. It's crazy and it was dope. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Dope. So now, my final question to you, and if anyone has like a really good question, we'll take one because this ran a little late. But what would you want to leave like people off with any sort of statement or like final conviction to think about for anyone who's watching this?
What do I want? Man, I just want y'all to empathize. Empathy is a big word these days, and I think it's a word that's heavy and it hits hard. Empathize, love people, pray for people, pray with people, allow. If you're not black, this is a season to listen. This is a season to observe. This is a season to listen. This is a season to gain knowledge. This is a season to not try to be the star player, but be a role player. You know what I'm saying? Like believe black people, believe black men, believe black women. Our black women are being attacked like crazy. I think black women have it the worst in America and all over the world. Love people more than your opinion. Oh look, Aaron's going off. Oh, Aaron, I just said that. Yeah, so like yo, just like but believe black women. Defend people's integrity. If you're wrong, be wrong. Be wrong, be in ignorance, and then learn. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay to like be like, yeah, I don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? Like learn, love people, love people more than the things you want to say to them, to your opinion that you want to say to them. And just champion this with people, man. Yeah, it says I don't know why every time I'm quiet, people call me racist, but when I speak up, they call me racist. It bums me out. I don't understand. Yeah, bro, that's not really a question, but I would encourage you to not really care what people think, and if you really feel it in your heart to speak up, then speak up. Not because it's a popular topic, but because you actually feel strongly about it. I think we touched on that earlier, but he wasn't here.
Yeah, so, I think what he's trying to say is there's a lot of people out there that say that your silence shows that you're complicit to what's going on, right? Yeah. But then you have the people who speak out and speak up, and then they get hammered by everybody telling them, why they're wrong. So unfortunately, that's sort of the nature of the beast, that you're always going to kind of get a 50-50. But I would say just follow what your conviction is. And if your conviction is to kind of be that voice, to be that voice in the darkness, to be that light, then use your voice, but expect that you're going to get some arrow shot at you, because that comes with the territory.
And I would also add, I don't want anybody running the social media first. If you have these grievances and you have these opinions and you have these things you want to get off your chest, social media in this time is not the place. Have real conversations with real people that you do life with. Talk to people. Ask these questions. Be willing to learn. It's okay to learn. It's okay to listen to people. It's okay to not know everything in this moment, because you're not going to. it's the time to listen and have these conversations with people in person. I think we should worry less about speaking out and more about learning the issues at hand if we don't know them in full capacity. It's not about, oh well, even though this might not be the desire, it's like, oh, like I want to look cool on social media and I don't want people to think I'm racist. That is like a pretty crappy uh, driving force to speak out.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather you
Yeah.
actually love black people, love black lives, love black women, love black thought, and genuinely care and post about things you care about, not when it's convenient, um, as opposed to I'm convicted because my ego isn't being stroked.
All right, let me add something in there, and then we'll end this. I feel like if you can't have these conversations with people that you love and that you trust and you know, then you shouldn't be having these conversations with anybody in a public forum. Like if you can't talk to your own parents about these things and have like a civil conversation that leads to anything fruitful, then you should not be on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook making these statements. So that's one point. And then I feel like, you know, as many memes or stats or things that people share, have you ever thought of like just looked at them and be like, oh, you know what? You completely changed my mind. And more often than not, it's not like it doesn't change your mind. Mykael's like really distracting me while I'm trying to talk. And so I feel like these one-to-one conversations with people will be more fruitful than any meme that you could probably ever share. But that's my 2 cents. And all right, Mykael, take us out because you're distracting me. I got nothing to say.
Yo, take us out. Love black women. Black women are the future. Love black people. Listen and love your neighbors. Stop being jerks in comments and learn something and stop trying to be cool by posting facts and actually learn to love people. Yes. Amen. The Lord is good.
Amen. All right. All right. Peace, bro. Thank you
Peace.
for stopping by. That ended quite amazingly. All right. So that was Chaos. Special shout out to Kevi Morse, LaToria, and DJ Mykael V. For everybody who tuned in and made a comment or asked a question, thank you. Last week, we had Angie Rose, Rockstar JT, and Richard Cutright. And obviously, follow Rapzilla. Follow Rapzilla everywhere. All right, y'all. See y'all next week.